some train there were some trainings we went through that put me on like an advantageous point from the start,
Okay.
like how people think about their purpose, how people think about their motivations in their career, how
Okay.
to do presentations. I took them for granted. I think at a point I thought I'd forgotten that we had been specially treated. And I just felt that, oh, by the time you've done 5 years, you know this, 10 years, you know this. So
Yeah.
even some of the things I went through, I already had a lot of us now. I don't say big shout outs to Adiza on the call. And I'm so proud. Like, there are days I've gone on calls and I'm like, if Adiza is here, I'll be in trouble. Today, I feel proud of me. She
All right.
she has she's a powerhouse in personal styling and showing up with purpose. So today when I drape this on, I'm like, ah, Adiza should see me and see her now. She's here. So it's comforting for me because, as you said, a lot of people are missing out on the guidance we take for granted or the guidance that we didn't have. And now with technology, with even with AI, I recently worked with a tool that sort of helps people get through workplace bullying. So it's amazing the things that can be done today. And I really hope that this becomes more common. I think now with everything that's happening, I'm starting, maybe because I'm also in the space of honest conversations, I'm starting to see more and more. Yesterday I was at an event, honest conversations. Yeah, it's happening and it doesn't even feel like it's going to be stifled.
Mhm.
Like one person will outshine the other. No, I think it'll just become like it'll be the new sugar or the new tin tomatoes. There'll be so many, and but at least when you go to a store, you get it. Even
Yeah.
when prices are
Yeah.
hiked, you get it. And I think that is what we need as a society, as a people now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big honor. I won't
Mhm.
lie, to be part of these conversations. It's a big honor to have enough great experience and enough awful experiences to
To
let
be
people
able
know
to
that
share.
you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah.
Not alone, and you don't have to be defeated. I think that's the thing. Because sometimes it feels quite hopeless, but it isn't. It isn't.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Looks like we've given enough time for people to start joining. I'm sure it's going to be a gradual process. People come in, leave. So I guess we can launch. Let's get it started. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for joining. Before we begin, I want to introduce our speaker for tonight's session on how to overcome toxicity at work. We're joined by Ofosua Daaku Ammah, a strong emerging voice known for her brutal honesty and compassionate approach. Her work focuses on helping professionals build clarity, resilience, and peace of mind in the face of toxic workplace environments. She brings practical strategies that move people from survival to significance and resilience and peace of mind in the face of toxic workplace environments. For those who are new to this community, TFGH helps people secure remote jobs by improving their resumes and optimizing their LinkedIn profiles. We also run a premium channel where we share vetted remote jobs opportunities every single day. And with that being said, let's get into tonight's topic. Also, we're excited to have you lead
Thank
us.
you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thanks everyone for joining. This is going to be very interactive, so please get ready to bear your soul, but probably just as much as you're prepared to. No one's going to force you to say things you aren't prepared to say, but get ready to get involved. It's easier perhaps to get a presentation in and talk at you, but let's have a conversation. And I think that's why I'm happy with what Jason is doing. I'm very big on honest conversations because personally for me, it has helped me get through very pretty dark times in my career. And I was telling Jason at the beginning, I personally think I have had an awesome, awesome career so far, and I'm enjoying the ride. A bit about me. My name is Ofosua Daaku Ammah. And Jason did say I help people overcome toxic workplaces. Before that title and that label came up, and before I went through perhaps about 6 months of thinking and reviewing and getting help from different people, and getting to this level of clarity. Trust me, one of the people who even helped me get here along the way is here today. So I'm very proud that she can hear this. Um, I started out as an electrical engineer, and guess what? There were not enough engineering jobs in Ghana, so I ended up in FMCG. And I, from there, have worked with different companies, mostly fast moving and consumer goods. So fast moving and in at the point, fast moving and consumer goods included telcos, but now they're quite separate. But your Nestle's, your Unilever, your Milo, your Lipton, your Geisha soap. Um, and from there, I was lucky enough, in less than 15 years, have had 13 bosses.
Wow.
Yes, 17 roles. So some of the bosses repeated. There was one boss I had. The first time she was my boss, she was a new boss. And the last time she was my boss, she was like a more mature boss. And she was my boss 3 times. So you can
Wow.
imagine. Yeah. And then I've worked in 3 countries: Ghana, South Africa, and the UK. So yes, I've had quite a rich and rewarding career, but also it came with a lot of experiences that made me question myself. I have been in amazing teams in toxic companies. I've been in companies that the whole company, like, it was from top down, it was terrible. I've
Wow.
been in I've had toxic bosses. I have had toxic colleagues, great bosses. I worked in teams where the teams were not toxic, but we had to work with toxic teams. I have led teams to be toxic. Unfortunately, I don't say this to brag, but I see it as a reality. I have been accused falsely. I have twisted truths just to look and feel good. I'm not innocent in this totally, but I've also had safe spaces where I can open up um to people who I trusted. Some of them led to backstabbing, but some of them led to growth. And that's what I help people do now, to grow, irrespective of the environment, especially if they are in a toxic work environment. So that's a long winding, this is me. But I
Mhm.
wanted to let you see how I'm connected to this topic personally, and then take us through this honest conversation. So thanks everyone for joining. My first question, yeah, I'm not going to let you be
Mhm.
show by emojis if you've ever personally experienced what you feel is a toxic work environment. So if you feel you've experienced something like that, show by emojis. So it can be, let me give examples. It could be that you had a great boss, but you had a situation at work that you know that for this one it wasn't going well. This one was really attacking my mental health, was attacking my well-being. Some of the physical things. You get up every Monday morning, you are running. Because it's Monday morning. It could be that you were always afraid to speak up in certain places. It could be that you felt even what's the word? Not victimized. You felt targeted. Okay. I'm glad that there were a few emojis. As I said, no one's going to force us to speak about things we don't want to.
Mhm.
Um, Now, toxic work environment is very broad. It's almost like burnout. But one of the things that has been a very good marker for me, um, coming into this environment, and funny enough, I had been doing this before I even decided to do this. I was a friend that people would come to and talk about their issues. I think um By the time I started working, I wasn't interested in gossip anymore. It was teenager, yes, everybody was doing it. And I think I failed woefully at it. So I kind of stopped. So people just realized that they could talk with me and open up. Um, and I realized over time, having worked with these people and now doing it professionally, that toxicity is is an interpretation of what is happening around you. And there are facts, there are things that are key markers of a toxic work environment. And when you have bosses don't allow you to speak up or share your views. But then there's also the bit where there's a boss who's not allowing to share your views because you don't know how to talk. Let's be very honest. Or once you share your views, you disrupt you come off really badly. And I've been like that before. Even now I'm still trying on that. So but if you do wake up in the morning and most of the time you are unhappy at work and you have done all you can, then most likely you're in a toxic work environment. One of the key markers of a toxic work environment is unhappiness at work. And because we are having an honest conversation today, I want to talk about, first of all, how examples of how it's shown up. Um, and then I'll talk about examples of how our response to work or even toxic work creates even more toxicity for us. And then I would also talk about what we can do. Because if you're on this call, you really, I mean, the topic is how to overcome. It's not about what is toxic work environments.
Okay.
Now, there are a few alarmist statistics, and nicely, because there's Gemini and there's ChatGPT, it's very easy to actually type this. And if you are writing or anything, I'd want you to type this prompt. Provide recent studies in the last 3 years that show us the impact of toxic work environments on employees. There's a lot you'll get. Also, ask it to give you the countries, because that gives some context. The countries the studies were in, the year it was conducted, and the number of employees or number of people that were involved. The statistics are really alarming, and right now I even shudder to look at what's it, because it became, I think, during COVID, it became, the awareness of mental health exploded exponentially.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know what people would even joke about. They would wake up one morning like, "Hey, is this how depression is?" And they wouldn't be sure, and they'll Google it. So there was a lot of awareness for the case of mental health, especially during the period of COVID. So people have become more and more aware. Like people go like, "This is not good for my mental health." Now carries more meaning than 2018. You
exactly.
know, and when people say it's not good for mental health, they may laugh, but personally, a lot of people own up to it. You know,
Yeah.
the Monday scaries, we joke about it. Everybody doesn't like Sunday evening, but right now it's a big indicator that you, one, may be in the wrong place, or two, you are not reacting to the place you are in. Whether the place is right or wrong is different. And one of the reasons why I have a job is because not everyone can leave a toxic work environment immediately. So the stats are alarming. I mean, 60% of what's the word? Workplace negative workplace outcomes. So your crimes, your stealing, your bullying, your 60% of it is due to the culture of the workplace.
Mm.
So if you're in an environment that isn't helpful, isn't enabling, then people resort to different things to perhaps cope or to gain more dominance, or to just get to, well, mostly cope and gain more dominance, right?
Mhm.
There are, I think one of the last, I wish I could remember. I had them, but I lost them. I had them in another book and I don't have it, so I'll be very honest about that. Um,
There are some instances where
Mhm.
I want to come in, but I don't want to disturb your flow.
You won't,
So,
trust me. You won't.
um, with what you just said in regards to the company's culture, fostering certain behavior,
Hmm.
what kind of culture first of all, what kind of culture would cultivate toxicity, a toxic environment in the
Mhm.
office space, and the opposite side, which kind of culture would cultivate an environment where people can grow, can express themselves, and so on. I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay, so when it comes to culture, it's a double-edged sword. So you can't get into a company and say this culture is perfect and will never fail. Culture is made of how people show up, choose to show up, or the structure allows you to show up. Let me give you an example. I saw a picture recently, someone shared it with me from Facebook and said workplace bullying, no, bullying doesn't end at the playground. And they show like a picture of children and someone bullying and says it continues to what HR approves. And you can see like a superior shouting at someone who's cowering by their desk, and
Mm,
some are looking away, some are looking on.
mm,
Okay. So sometimes when we think of culture, we are thinking of HR, and that is so lazy. Let me be honest. It is absolutely lazy thinking. Sometimes we think about leaders. It is true, but it sometimes is an excuse to go like, it's not my fault, it's the leaders, you know. Now, when it comes to culture that breeds toxicity, there are signs, and I won't lie about that. When you have a place where when you go to a meeting, you are afraid to speak up because you know if you say the wrong thing, you will be punished. Not you may be punished, not your
yeah.
boss will call you aside and try and show you the way. You know that when that call is coming from your boss, it is an accusation straight up and down. That's one of the things. Then there's a lot of silencing. When there's not there's not enough nurturing. There are people who are just telling you what to do
What to do?
and
Somebody
how
just
to do
dropped
it.
a
Mm-hmm,
comment
mm-hmm.
uh, from Peter. Peter Banford said that I experienced a toxic working environment, which led to me resigning in about 2 months ago as a head of department.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Peter, you'll have to elaborate on this eventually. You come on and you'll speak of this. Wow.
Thanks, Peter. I'm glad that this is opening up and becoming more of a because I was like, don't make this a lecture. And I'm glad. I'm glad. We will let the conversation flow really. And if you do feel that you want more, you want to speak, my number, Jason will drop it in the chat, but I'll mention it 02,092,755. Um, give me a call. WhatsApp, if I don't pick up immediately, I will get back to you.
You said
Um
02,000.
92,755. So 020,009,2755. Yes. WhatsApp me and let's book a time to chat. I actually offer a service, a 50 minutes time with anybody. Usually I give you a calendar invite and you book it because there were times in my career when it got really, really, really toxic. And we explain what toxicity is. So for those who are like, what's this toxic? We'll get to it. There were people I could call and just rant. So now I read not everybody had that. I told you I've been very fortunate. Almost every time in my career, I've had people who defended me without my asking. And I've had people who were there for me. I could call them at any time. And I like to be that for other people. So that's something I'm offering for free to a lot of people for their first few calls because I know how important it is to be heard. But back to what we're talking about, toxic work environments. There is a lot of also in a toxic work environment, it's a lot of I won't say denial. The word is not denial. There's a lot of inaction about what is happening. So if somebody feels uncomfortable, oh yeah, that boss there, they're just bad though, and that's it. That's where it ends. No, no warning, no conversation, no nothing. Like just deal with it. There's a lot of figure it out, deal with it. That's different from an environment that tries to help you to grow and not be spoon fed. Let's not get that wrong. If you are overly spoon fed, you don't grow. It's like when a caterpillar has gone through the whole pupa stage and is becoming a butterfly, they have to strengthen their wings. So they have to break out of the cocoon. So there are some things that you have to learn to do on your own. We are not for want of a better expression, raising a bunch of softies. But the thing is, there is a time when just figure it out is not helpful, and especially when it involves the dignity of people, um, how we respect others, how we speak to each other. So even if, let's say, Jason, you're working with me, and thankfully I've worked with Jason before, I will say, sometimes I'll send him an email and go like, Jason, go to this person and ask this person this, right? I'm not saying, Jason, I'll open the door for you. I just ask it. No. Or, Jason, you have to think about what is important to you and decide what you want to do first. That is not a toxic work environment. That's an environment that is interested in helping you grow and mature and stand on your feet. But a toxic work environment is, I am hurt and there's nothing you are doing about it. I feel insulted and there's nothing you do about it. And the thing about toxicity is it's like harassment. One of the key rules and toxicity, well, they are not interchangeable. They are connected, but toxicity is not just about harassment. So, but I'm just saying one of the basic rules of harassment that if someone feels harassed, they are harassed.
Okay.
Do you get it? So if you feel you are in a toxic work environment, if you feel that Sunday evenings come and you just wish it was Friday.
All
If
of a
if
sudden.
if every single day 5 o'clock you're extremely happy, it's one of this. I'm not saying you don't have things to look forward to. There were times when I was planning a cake show, so 5 p.m. was like, yes, I could go back into planning a cake show. That's different. But if every day 5 p.m. that is your true happy hour. It's concerning because human beings were made to work. I mean, I am Christian unapologetically. So work is part of our Christian duty, but it shouldn't be always sad and laborious. It can be hard, but when you stop losing the joy out of going to work, it doesn't mean you have to love everything 100%. No. But if every joy is gone, um, you have either created a toxic work environment for yourself, and I'll explain the difference, or you are in one. So there are cultures that are helpful, that try and build you up. But there are cultures that you know that they are tearing you down. Another sign of a toxic work environment is gossip. It's one of the easiest signs. Gossip, the grapevine exists, but when people are really not concerned about your work anymore, they're concerned about your family, who dated who, what dress they are wearing, how the manager talked to them, and how they don't know how to speak, and oh goodness, big sign, big sign. Because one of the things is that toxicity doesn't happen as one person, it happens as a system. Never forget, it happens as a system. So in a toxic work environment, you can be someone who is against it or someone who is actually pushing it. So one of the workplaces I was in, something happened, and by the time I was leaving, it was funny. What had happened was serious. There was something had been blown out of proportion, but I'd also made a mistake. I would always admit that. But by the time I was leaving, the stories that were coming back were incredible, And that's why you know that Charlie, this place was good. I'm leaving because
Yeah.
the toxicity, that the gossip is rife. Another
Wow.
thing, there are so many examples, and most of the examples I'm picking are from either lived experiences of people that we've gone through. So I told you that people do there are no consequences to bad behavior, like disrespectful behavior. Another thing is where a lot of people are afraid of one person or two people. Like we are all walking on eggshells, trying not to offend because we are all it's like when you're so concerned about your peace of mind, most likely you're in a toxic environment. When you're so concerned, like peace of mind is top on your list, when
Mm.
you wake up in the morning and you are praying, oh God, give me peace. Oh God, like take me through the day. Let no one come and walk my path. They are not praying to God for get me through this project. It's God. Just yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those big signs.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, your question has given us the first part.
Mm.
I also want to talk about the second part about how we become toxic colleagues. Now, there's a saying in Tree, "Bone ne de bone ba." It is evil that begets evil. I think there's a similar quote in English, but I can't remember the exact one, so I don't want to. I think it's like begets. That's not the one I'm looking for. But really, if you're in a toxic work environment, you have two jobs. One, not to be highly affected by it. And let me be very honest, for some people, it means leaving. For others, it means looking at how you are reacting to things. And two, not to become a toxic work colleague because toxicity thrives in numbers. And if we can embitter you enough, you contribute to the environment that makes the few people who are benefiting from toxicity even gain more power and do it. Now, somebody said any status quo exists because somebody or some people somewhere are benefiting from it. Toxicity is not just about this person, but people are benefiting from it. And sometimes it can boil down to money or power, but whatever it is, always any even with good culture, even with an cultural enabling of good productivity, honest feedback, um, courageous decisions, even that someone is benefiting from it, right? So
So
don't. Mhm.
sorry for cutting
No,
you.
don't be
I
sorry.
think I'm going to start using the raise hand button whenever I
Mm,
want to come in. I actually used it earlier, but I think you didn't catch it.
I don't
So
think. Okay, I'll be mindful.
so Peter has said something
Mm.
in the comment section, and I don't know. I if Are you comfortable, Peter, with coming forward and because then Ofusua really wants to have a conversation. Like it's a back and forth thing. So if you're comfortable, you can step up and we can dive into this with you. I know you had your camera on earlier on. I'm not gonna force you. But I mean if you're not comfortable, then I mean I can read out your comments and hello.
Yes,
Hello?
thank you
Okay,
very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
loud and clear.
Good. Talking about toxic working environments, I have
Mhm.
had my share.
Mhm.
There is this company that I've worked with for about 10 years.
Mhm.
I'm an accountant by profession. I've worked with this company for 10 good years. And then, so this all happened when I was trying to further my education. I was trying to pursue a course online. It's a foreign course online.
Mhm.
And so when I applied, the institution was demanding for my financial status for them to grant me the access to pursue the course. And so the funds that they were demanding uh, to make me comfortable to read the course was quite huge. And frankly speaking, as Ghanaian as I am, uh, I wrote to them that I don't have that huge funds, but then I have some other businesses that I can run, but I'll be able to cover all the expenses involved, both the research and then the thesis and all those things. And so I got a friend of mine uh, who assisted me, who drafted some bank statements, and I sent it to the institution in abroad. And then based on that, they granted me the admission. But then the bank statement he drafted for me, frankly speaking, I wasn't having that amount in my bank account because I personally have never even seen that money physically in my life, even though I worked for 10 years. So they granted me course and I was reading the course. And then somewhere along the line, at the workplace, somebody hacked into my system one day when I was preparing a payroll at the workplace. So I reported it to my boss. Before then, I called my assistant and then I informed him that I could feel that somebody has hacked into my system. I'm preparing a payroll. So I took pictures of the person controlling the desktop, the
Oh
screen.
wow.
I took pictures of that as an evidence. And so I reported it to my boss. When I sent it to my boss said, what happened? Then I said, I don't know. Personally, I'm not an IT inclined person, so I don't know what happened, but all I could see is that somebody had hacked into my system. So he didn't say anything. But prior to that, I have heard that someone has taken some documents from my system to my boss. And so I was expecting my boss to ask me about those documents.
Mm-hmm.
I got to know that it was the bank statement. You know, being an accountant, I was thinking that my boss might think that, okay, hey, so you have this money in your account, this big money, and all those that. But personally, I knew that it was a fake bank statement, which I used to apply for something, which is not rare. So I was expecting him to call me to ask me about it. So he didn't ask. And so while we were deliberating on this, I asked him that, boss, you didn't say anything about somebody hacking into my system. This is a very big company. I have seek an advice from a criminal investigation departments, and they are telling me that I should be they are telling me so many things that I should be very careful. I should draw your attention, and we need to investigate to get to know who did that. And so that is why I am informing you, but you haven't still said anything about it. Well, I'm not comfortable being a head of department as the head of finance. I'm afraid that if any document of this institution goes out there, I'm afraid I'll get into trouble. So please, if you can assist me for us to investigate to get whoever, did this. Because we have cameras all over. Before you enter into the accounts department, we have cameras there. So whoever did that, I'm sure we can go into it and get to know the root of this. Then he said, okay, fine, you try. Then he traveled abroad and came back. So when he came back, then I went to him again and informed him about it. Then he didn't say anything. So the next day when I went to office, somebody has on my computer before I go to office. The desktop was on. So I took a picture and sent it to the company's lawyer. And I told him that this is what is happening to me. Before I come to office each day, somebody has on my desktop. It has gone on for 3 consecutive times. I have informed my boss, but he hasn't done anything about it. In fact, I don't feel comfortable. It's like each time I'm coming to work, I am coming with fears. I don't know what is happening. It's like somebody is always taking my documents. Somebody is invading into my privacy all the time. I don't feel comfortable working in this environment. So I complained to the lawyer, and the lawyer called the managing director. Then the managing director called me to his office, and he asked me that, whose bank statement is this? Then I said, it's my personal bank statement. But one thing is that though I was the accountant of that institution, but I wasn't signatory to the account of the company. It's my boss. I, put together expenditures and everything. Letters, corporate letters and all those things, prepare payroll, everything for his approval. Then he will sign. Then I will go and circulate everything and then make sure that everything goes to where it's supposed to go to. I am not signatory to the account. So when he saw the bank, when he asked me that whose bank statement is it, and I said, oh, it is mine. Then he said, oh, Peter, so you have this plenty money, and I'm looking for money to complete my project. and you are not all the time. I've been discussing to seek facilities from banks with you, and you don't want to give me. And I say, oh, sir, but you and I know that this money, I don't have it. This, you as an international man, you have traveled abroad over 40 years. You should know that this statement is fake. I don't have this money. I use it to
Peter,
apply for something.
Peter,
Then,
um,
yeah, hello.
yes, because we are mindful of time, this is a very
Yes.
intriguing story,
I'll,
and
I'll, I'll,
also,
I'll summarize it. I'll
yes,
summarize it very soon.
yes,
So
and then
I
also, and
told
also
him,
be mindful that some people on the call may be aware where you're coming from too as well. Just be mindful of how much you share. But yes.
of course, sure. All right, sure. So when I told him that, then he said, oh, I shouldn't worry. He knows that the thing is fake. So the time that he got the statement, he got it long ago. But because he knew that it's fake, that is why he has put it on his desk. He doesn't want to buy. But a lot has gone on the environment. So
Mm-hmm,
many gossips and certain things. And I said, oh,
mm-hmm,
so how did you got this statement? They say, oh, don't worry. And I said, oh, I want to know. Because
yeah.
do you remember that I have reported to you that somebody has hacked into my system? That is why I'm asking you how you got this statement. They say, oh, don't worry. And I say, okay, no problem. So I walked out from his office. Then the next day, I wrote a resignation letter to him because
Mm-hmm,
I felt very bad and betrayed. What can we do for 10 years? And if somebody could take a statement, a document from my system to your office,
yeah.
and somebody has been hacking into my system, and I have reported the issue to you, you called me and asked me, knowing that the document is fake, because you are an international person, you know if a
Mm-hmm,
statement is fake, you know it, you knows it.
mm-hmm,
So it's like you are playing with my mind or something. So I told him that I want to resign. I can't continue with the job anymore. He said, what? What are you saying? That cannot happen. So quickly he picked his phone and called the company's lawyer.
mm-hmm,
And the lawyer said, what is he saying? Oh, Peter is joking. This cannot happen. Peter cannot say this. I was with Peter, 3 days ago. He didn't tell me this. Let him come to my office the next day. I will talk to him and conduct some exit interview with him, then to get to know what is happening. I went to the lawyer and I disclosed everything to him. And the lawyer
mm-hmm,
felt very bad that, did you really inform your boss? And I said, yes. And said, and what did he do about it? I said, nothing, nothing. And he has this statement in front of him and show it to me. And he look as if he, he doesn't know how I feel about it. He getting the document in my, without me knowing. And somebody hacking into my system, because I was feeling that if it is me, personally myself, that has displayed a company's document out there, probably I may not be, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, you know.
mm-hmm,
So when I tendered in the resignation letter, it became a hot issue then. So
mm-hmm,
quickly, he organized a board meeting. First one, they called me, they spoke to me if I could rescind the resignation letter, if I could withdraw it. Then I said, no, I'll withdraw it. So that went by. Then the next day, there was another board meeting. Then my boss now told me that he is going to call the person who brought him the document. He is going to expose the person, and then in front of the board, for the board to ask him why he brought him the document, and when he brought him the document, what he told the person about the document. And I said, well, me, I don't care. All I
okay.
care is that I'm going to resign because I don't feel comfortable.
Peter, let me hold on to this one, especially because you are reaching a conclusion, and I'm doing this for a reason. You've mentioned a lot of salient points, and I'm hoping that those who were listening were observing. And Peter, permit me to use your example to even just touch on those points and then move on the conversation. Um, Peter did tell us that he left the company, and there are some But thank you so much for it. I really wanted to cut off without the conclusion and cut over where you're headed to. But there are some things that happen. The gaslighting. For those who are aware of the term gaslighting and may even be aware of the movie, a man decided to frustrate his wife. I don't know why, and would always raise they had gas lamps in their house so that let's say no electricity. Raise the to the highest. A very old movie. I think it was 50s movies or so. And the woman will always come and say the lights are so bright. It's like, no, there's nothing happening. It's when people stage something, then react to you. One thing I've learned about every work environment, and people are supposed to do their jobs. People are paid by a company, they are not paid by employees. And this whole thing, I don't have enough information, but it reminds me of certain situations I have been in, especially some of my clients and some of my colleagues who were obviously not my clients then, but opened up to me were in. You can see how the web was becoming bigger and bigger, and now people are trying to protect themselves, make themselves look good. But the thing is, they were in on it for a while. How much they were in on it is different. That's one of the signs of a toxic environment. When something goes wrong and they pin it on you. There was a time where I went and was working with a colleague, and for some reason he was upset. He was in a meeting room I'd booked, and then he rained insults on me. So I'm like, what just happened? That time I was working in a different country. So I was like, what's going on? So I'm Jason, I'll come back to you quickly. Thanks again. I sent him an email, just me and him. He said, you know what? I don't do swear words. I don't do insults. Don't use insults on me. Secondly, look at this booking. You were in the wrong meeting. I was supposed to be there. So why rain insults on me? Guess what this gentleman did? Went to cry to his, but no story came. Gave his boss spoke with my boss, and eventually my boss called me and made it look like I was overdoing things. But I said, I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even send the email to anybody else. It was just me and him. How did I become the bad person? Was it because I'm black in a foreign land where there are other white people? Is it because, but that is one of the signs of toxicity. It doesn't mean walk around like, hey, toxic, hey, then you are. No. But being aware of them helps. And I'm glad Peter did some things. He took when you feel you're in a toxic work environment, document. Don't underestimate it. I went through some certain situations at work, and luckily my husband was related to some judge in the labor law court. So he used to advise me, get an Excel sheet and document today, this happened, that happened. When it's not needed, it's not needed. Because gaslighting is a very, very common tactic. And Peter, once again, I thank you for sharing this story. It's a very, very common and toxicity doesn't it's not a one-off mistake. It's not, oh, I was angry and I didn't say it well. It is every 3 months you get into a very big temper and you just lash out of people like we are slaves. No one is a slave. So thank you so much, Peter. I wanted to cut it short also because of where it was headed, but also because it gave very good examples that people could relate to. So I appreciate this a lot. Jason, let me pause for you.
Oh no, I just wanted to read the comments.
Mm.
Yes, Abdul mentioned that there should be a part two of this session. Also, Advia mentioned also very valid and insightful issues you are raising about workplace toxicity. And I can really relate to several aspects you mentioned in my career, and I will share the impact it had on me whenever you're ready to take comments. However, I have a question for you. How can business owners ensure their workplaces are not toxic?
Wow. Um, I agree. There will be a part two, and it's one of the reasons why I also have honest conversations. And Jason and I have spoken about it. The reason why I haven't been able to catch him in is because he's pushing for remote jobs. And one of the things about some of the remote jobs that your working hours are just not Ghanaian.
Yes.
So I haven't been able to get him outside Ghana working hours because it's his working hours sometimes. So I'll answer the BS question and just be mindful. We will go with the flow of the conversation. So what I outlined earlier, we won't be able to go through everything, but would rather answer the questions that are coming up. So Peter, please give your number to Jason. Reach out to me. My number's in the chat. I'd love to talk with you some. I won't lie about that.
Yes,
And
madam.
really, really,
Thank you very much. Right now, I'm going through a lot of, I don't know whether to call it a stigma or something. I went to an interview, and
mm-hmm,
the employer asked me why I left that company. I didn't want
mm-hmm.
to. I mean,
It's not
elaborate
necessary.
all and explain all these things.
Yes,
So I just told him that I was just trying to move on to seek for new opportunities to enhance
that's a
my
good
career.
move.
But the employer said, no, 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 no. He want to know because that company is a very big company. And for me to have worked there for 10 years, and that means 10 years, the employer has trust in me. But for me to have left all of a sudden, he want to hear that story, what really happened. And so the employer, put all the interview aside and was trying to focus
Mm,
on what
mm,
really went
mm,
on
mm,
at the
mm, mm.
company. You
Peter,
know,
Peter. On this note, let's have a one-on-one conversation. I'm really mindful of how painful this is. I'm really
because of that,
mindful.
I don't want to attend any interview in Ghana here again. I don't want to because I don't want to. Frankly speaking, because
I
yeah,
agree. I agree. It's let me tell you one story to just explain how I understand what you mean, and the reason why I want us to talk. Toxicity. Don't don't believe the lie. And this is not to Peter. This is everybody on the call. Toxic workplaces will have an effect on you. Period. Like, don't believe the lie that you are strong enough. No, it is a lie. And I'm laughing, but it's very serious. Toxic work environments will have an impact on you, even if it's not being done to you. The sheer fact that you are seeing it being done to someone else, there are things that are happening in the background. Don't believe the lie. Also, don't believe the lie that it cannot be overcome. And don't believe the lie that you should just snap out of it. I like the way Peter is being vulnerable. It's not something that a lot of people easily snap out of. And I'm being mindful of time and want to also answer Dubia's question. So please, if you are in a situation like Peter's or resonates with you, I do have my number. Reach out on WhatsApp. We will book a session. We will have a conversation. Um, and some things are best not mentioned more and more in public. That's why we have the dinners that I have with people to talk honestly and openly about work. We don't just talk about toxicity, we talk about general things like the one happening this Thursday. We are talking about networking that actually works, not just having a long list of people in your phone book that you can't call, but a network that actually gives you value. Um, we are covered by confidentiality agreements so that what is said in the room stays in the room. Otherwise, we can come for you and sue you. We are not joking. People's careers have been built over blood, sweat, and tears. We are not going to let a careless word that can be traceable to somebody back in the room go out. And because they are honest conversations like what Peter's having here, we have honest solutions, proven solutions that you can try immediately. Now, when it comes to what Peter is saying, this is what you're saying about stigma. It's what we call PTSD, post traumatic syndrome, and distress. I've gotten out there, but post traumatic. Let me just call PTSD. Is what a lot of soldiers experience after the end of a war. They come home, they are shouting, they're hallucinating. And recently, I experienced it after I went on a career break. I volunteered at a workplace, and I wasn't in a toxic environment, at least not for me. But can you imagine that the day I was leaving, because I had to focus more on what I was building, we had agreed amicably at 8 o'clock. I started feeling as if people were talking about me. Jason, it was scary. And the owner of the place would walk in and she's having a phone call. I can't hear what she's saying. But some of my mind is convincing me that this lady is gossiping about me. It was so scary. It was only 10 o'clock that I was like, oh, something is really wrong here. I'm like, oh my goodness, PTSD. Now, PTSD is not something I ever attributed to myself, ever, 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 ever. But I realized I was going through it because I had left so many toxic work environments and probably left with my shoulders high, my head up. compose. Some people on this call have been my former colleagues in certain environments who have seen how I've left. Some may not even realize that I was leaving a toxic work environment, and some were even claiming I was and I wasn't. But I had been so composed, and now that I wasn't even leaving a toxic work environment, my body was reacting to leaving in a very bad way. One of my hopes of this conversation was that people would realize that they are not alone. And Peter's story, if it hasn't made you realize that this is happening all over the place, I don't know what else can, because it may not have been happening to you, maybe happening to someone you love, or a friend or a colleague. I wanted people to know that they are not helpless. And that's where we come in with the dubious question: what can we do? And want to know people that they are not undone. It's not over, like what Peter is saying. It's not the end. In fact, you can probably do, in fact, extremely well in a Ghanaian company. So, what should business owners do? This is what I've seen work. Create the environment where people can be open and honest with you, not just tell you what they want you to hear. And after a while, you can see when people are just telling you what you want to hear, you can see it. And if you're enjoying it, please be aware that that enjoyment comes with consequences. Nice, it does. Human beings, guys. It's nice when the people are shuffling and trying to say the right things for you, but that means that then they're allowing the wrong things to be done. That's also very possible. So create that environment. Don't punish people for telling you the truth. I can be a very passionate person. So when you tell me something that I feel hurt by, nowadays my first reaction is to just keep quiet and process. Because if I react, the way I'm even saying, hey, is that what you mean? Are you serious? I may put you off. Remember, if you reward bad behavior, that's what will continue. The same way as if you reward good behavior, that's what. So if somebody's come to tell you that, boss, the way you are paying me, I don't like it, and you are upset the first time, they'll never say it again. Or if they do, they'll say it in a very political. Everybody wants their peace of mind, though. Like, don't even joke with that. Especially when people know that it's leaving them because they have chosen to work in a place and things are happening. Just like Peter did, it's going. I can't do this. Like, am I for? Even if I was for, I wouldn't take it. So create the environment and then have structures in place to encourage good behavior without demonizing people. If someone does something wrong, it should be clear what are the consequences of doing something wrong. And sometimes you never know what is wrong till it is done the first time. But as soon as it happens, create a consequence for it. I hired a PA, and I find I'd give the PA a lot of work, right? And at the end of the day, the target we set for that month doesn't get done. So later on, when I hired another PA, I said, you know what? We are going to agree two priorities for the month. And if you don't achieve these priorities, you don't get paid. It's as simple as that. And we agreed on the priority. And I also told her, I know me. I know I can give you 1,001 things to do. In fact, ask Jason, we worked before. He asked me one question, I'll give him like 10 solutions to try. Then I tell him to go and prioritize. So I said that these are the two things you must deliver. If I'm overdoing it, please call me out. Just the sheer fact that I have created that system and even told her when I'm about to give her too much work that I can handle myself out of the name of training I realized that these two things are what she's paid on. These other eight are not. So create the systems that make and and reward and I don't want to call it punishment, but consequences very clear, right? Corporates do it quite well. If you this is your target, if you achieve it, you get this. If you overachieve it, you get that. If you don't, what some corporates don't do well is that they are like three stages from just achieving. What does a one look like? What does a two look like? They don't clarify. So be very clear and know that you are human. You are also learning. And being a toxic person, I really wanted to go into that, so I will go into it now. It's very easy, especially when you are met with toxic behavior. And toxic behavior is not just from bosses, guys. Some subordinates can bring the devil out of you. I won't lie, like the devil will arise in your eyes. Remember that Olivia, thanks for that. Remember that you are also human and you also have to put yourself in check. One of the ways I easily became a toxic person is that I was gossiping. Like, that's one. Look at their boss's shoe, like, they've just come from like those little comments. It's like you are coping, no. But how you are coping is making you toxic. How are you helping the situation? You're just breeding more gossip. You are making people feel more resentful, you know. And I'll quickly come. Jason, I don't know how much extra time you have, but I have time for those who want to stay on further. But I want to quickly do this for those who may want to leave exactly at 9. Um, is first of all, know your why. It's so important. So important. So important that I'm going to drop something in the chat right now. I was supposed to give this to Jason earlier and I completely forgot. So I'll drop this in the chat right now. It's called the Perfect Day Assignment. Please fill the form and do the work. It helps give you some level of clarity on where your life is headed. Know why are you in this job? If you are there for just the money, or you're there for dignity, or you're there for peace, or there for learning, are you still learning? If you're not learning, why are you still there? You know your why, because your why will help you realize if you have to stay or not. I was in a very weird situation early in my career where some people were trying to throw my there was a situation that had gone south. So some people tried to sacrifice my boss and use us to do it. It was terrible.
Wow.
It took the HR director to call us to his office and go like, this has nothing to do with you. Because we're like, what is going on? Another sign of a toxic environment, when you feel uncomfortable like Peter did and you raise it and they either turn it on you or they act as if it's normal. Get a second opinion. Even if better, seek legal advice or someone who is trusted. Knowing that trusted people to the thing about trusting people at work is that just get ready for being backstabbed, but brace yourself for it. Sometimes it's better to get to know people than cut yourself off from the world. Toxicity breeds with isolation. So don't be isolated. That's why I offer the services I do so that people can have someone to speak to. And if it means we speak to a lawyer, we get you connected. If it means we speak to a therapist, we get you connected as well. Um, so know your why, understand what you want. Then also, when you start knowing your why, who you want to be, you can show up better. Like, I want to be the person who is unfazed by this nonsense. I want to be the person who is ready for a fight and have my documents clear. One fight I did, I'm still so proud of myself. Like, I see my documents, like, yeah, daughter of two professors. Like, I give myself fans all the time for it. Um, and then build allies. That's why I say some allies I will not mince words. Some allies will stab you in the back, but some allies will get you through. There was some advice somebody gave a colleague of mine when one of our bosses was really creating the buses and throwing this person under it. That senior colleague told my colleague that shine beyond the noise. So create allies. And also in a toxic work environment, sometimes the whole fixation on work can be too much. Get a side hustle, get a hobby, go to church, volunteer, like do other things that bring your life, make you very alive. And be a listening, like you have no idea, like join a WhatsApp group and just chat with them, you know, because what makes toxicity worse, first of all, as I isolates you, makes you think you're a problem, makes you question yourself. But when you have other portions of your life that take your mind from it, it can help you come back more energized, come back clearer, and even make you see things from a different perspective. Um, Another thing too is that know when to seek help. When you've done all these tips and tricks and you are still suffering every Sunday nights, you are running. You have headaches like nobody's business. You're having physical symptoms or you can't sleep. That's a bad sign. Don't ignore it. Because whatever happens compounds eventually. And some people have dropped dead. And I won't lie about that. Some people have gotten to stages in their mental health that could have been nipped in the bud from just simple therapy and not even medications. Don't take it for granted. And as I said, COVID gave us a lot of leverage and awareness around mental health. You're in such a wonderful time to live in with so much information, but there are still experts who know what to do better than ChatGPT. please seek help. And if you are not sure, just ask me. Let's talk a bit and then we'll talk about some of it may be legal help, some of it may be therapy. Some may just get yourself a trainer and go to the gym. Like just go and run it off, you know. And lastly, sometimes you have to know that it's time to leave. Not every environment is meant to contain you and your genius or contain you and what you bring to the table. Some environments are not ready for you. And if they aren't, there'll be people who help that environment get you out, either from within or without. So please be mindful you are not a tree, but not every, even trees, you take time to uproot them. Now they can be moved. But also remember that we don't just follow the LinkedIn mantras. The toxic environment, just go. Just no, please. It's not for everybody. I won't tell a lie. It's not for everybody. And not everybody's prepared for it. It's better to get prepared for it. So Jason, I know it's 9:03. I would get back to you on if there's any more time. I have a lot of time to give the group for those who have questions, those who want to stay. I'm happy to share it as well. And I mean, toxic work environment, as I said, it covers almost every atrocity on earth, from sexual harassment to bullying to gas to all sorts of things. It or just not being supported or not giving the tools. Like you've gone to a place, they're not giving you a laptop, they're not giving you this, like Charlie, Charlie,
Yeah,
Charlie.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
broad. I said it's as broad as burnout. And we can't unpack it. But I just want to know that you are not helpless. Start with knowing your why. Go into the chat, copy the link. You have my number also in the chat. Reach out. Let's talk. Build allies. Be very clear. Get support. Get a life outside work. Get some focus outside work. Man was meant to work, but it's not your whole life. And know when it's time to leave or when it's time to get help.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Ofosua Daaku Ammah, and I support corporate managers overcome toxic workplaces. I also create safe spaces where people can come and have open and honest conversations about workplace realities, not just toxic toxicity, but like this Thursday at 6 p.m. 9 p.m. If you are interested, just DM me. At City Galleria, we will be talking about networking that actually works. And we have some online, some in person, and we want to protect careers. We cover ourselves with confidentiality agreements as well to make sure that what you say in the room stays in the room or is not traceable back to you. Because at the end of the day, we want everybody to be happier and more productive at work. And that is so possible no matter the environment you're in. But you have to know your why. Let's help you get there. Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you so much. This was a breath of fresh air. You know, every time we come for these sessions, there's success, motivation, and this is you telling us, hey, you can be human too. We come from environments that really hinder your growth, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. I hope that we can do this at least once a month because I know that everybody needs this, you know. And thank you everyone who took the time to join us, everyone who dropped a comment. Like she said, her number is there. I think we're gonna share that in our channel as well. We'll share the number and the link as well, so that you can fill if you want to join. And yeah, have a wonderful evening. Thanks again, Ofosua, for this. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll be here. Thank you very
thank
much,
you,
Jason. I'll be on it.
thank you,
Peter,
thank
I'm
you.
waiting for your call. Thank you.
That's for you. All right, let
Right,
me.
right. You hear from me.
Yes,
You
please. I'll
hear
be
from me.
looking forward to it.
All right,
Thank you. I'm most
thank you,
grateful.
guys.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Jason.
evening. Bye
Looking
bye.
forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Bye bye. Lovely session. Lovely session.